Hey, how's everybody doing, YouTube family? I want to follow up from the last video I did, where I did some rant because of the National Guard being deployed in Washington, D.C., supposedly, quote, a high crime area. And I talked about that. And I want to elaborate a little bit more on this as far as that situation. Please like and subscribe. Brand new channel, military topics only. I really appreciate it if you can do that for me. So, in that video, I did a little rant, and you know, and basically it was about I was annoyed about the deployment of National Guard troops to Washington D.C. and they didn't really come from Washington D.C. If you notice, there's a trend. They come from red states, and right now, for instance. I talked about the state of Mississippi, how the governor of Mississippi was bragging that he sent troops to National Guard troops to Washington D.C. to uphold law. And my beef was, why don't you worry about your own background, which is to have Mississippi has the highest crime rate in the country, and you're going to worry about a blue state where the mayor has actually said that crime has come down. Okay, this is not about crime, folks. Read between the lines. It's all political. Okay, that's all it is. Right now, you have some 6 states that have volunteered to send troops to Washington, D.C. And I'm going to read them all to you. I wrote a list here. West Virginia, Ohio, Mississippi, like I just mentioned, Louisiana, Tennessee, and South Carolina. Now, if you know your politics or know a little bit, what do these 6 states have in common? They're all red states going to a blue state to uphold law. Now, what is this, folks? A civil war? Okay. He knows that if he sends the guard from red states, most of the people that are in the guard from those states basically maybe even are, I'm trying to find a better word, follow Trump's values. Okay. In other words, they believe in what Trump is doing because they come from those states. Not all of them, but most likely they voted for him and they believe in what he's doing. So he figures, let me send only troops from red states to blue states. Now he's threatening to send them to Chicago. And Chicago is all in an uproar. The governor of Illinois is annoyed. He's pissed. He says, I don't need you. We're already controlling with our own law enforcement. Crime is down compared to what it was a few years ago. And then he's threatened New York City. And I guarantee he's going to go back to California again like he did for the demonstrations. Now, so, what is his motive? To me, it's political. He just wants to show his muscle. He has a beef against these blue states. He has a beef against the mayors and the leadership of these blue states. And it's just his way of getting back. That's my personal opinion. And everything points to that. It's not about fighting crime, folks. And he says that, I send the troops to Washington, D.C., and the numbers went down. Crime has gone down. Duh. When you have nothing but a military force of thousands in the streets with a large police force, including the FBI, do you think that anybody's going to commit any crime in front of them? Of course not. Now, can you maintain this? Like I said in my first video, can you actually maintain sending National Guard troops and probably in the future, like he did in California with the Marines, going to send active duty troops to these cities? How long can you maintain this? How long can you pay for this? Your tax dollars are paying for this. So he's actually going to send troops to every major city in the country, like we're being occupied by the military. This only happens like in China or Russia, folks, or North Korea. Really? Do you want to live in a society that you can't even go downtown to have dinner because you're surrounded by troops? The mayor of Washington, D.C. has even said that tourism has gone down substantially because of the National Guard troops in the streets. People don't want to go to Washington, D.C. They don't want to be bothered by the military and afraid that if they jaywalk, before you know they're going to be arrested. Um, am I exaggerating? Maybe. Okay. Now, my point is this: in the '60s, the late '60s, we had a demonstration at Ohio State. The governor felt that he needed maybe the demonstrations were getting out of hand on the campuses, and he figured, well, let me send the National Guard to control the crowds. Okay, what happened? 4 students killed. Uh, Granted, the students got stupid, started throwing rocks at the National Guardsmen. The Guardsmen had no self-control. They opened fire, and 4 students got killed. Okay, what do you think is going to happen in the future in one of these cities if people start demonstrating because they're fed up? Okay, and some of them, some people, they are stupid. They do things they're not supposed to. And these National Guard, which are not trained police force, what might happen? They can have weapons. They might open fire. All right. So what you have? What you want? A little civil war going on in our cities? Folks, it's all political. It's not about controlling crime. If the numbers work, where he says, look, it worked because I sent all these numbers of National Guard in the streets, then that is your answer. Why don't you just give money, federal money, to the police forces in those cities, okay, to recruit more police officers, all right, so that way they'll be able to control crime better. Actually train police officers, not National Guard, who are not trained in law enforcement, all right, because there's no way that you can maintain a military force for a long period of time without affecting us financially, okay. It's just not going to work. Crime will go down, and as soon as you leave, crime will go back up again. You didn't really solve the issue. All you did was put a Band-Aid on it. Okay? I don't know what you feel about this. I'm kind of disturbed about it, where he's now is talking about going to Chicago. Next is New York, probably Los Angeles. Who else? What other city he wants to go to? Miami? I don't know. Well, Miami's a red state. Probably not. Okay? So that's my beef. That's my rant. What do you think about it? Is Trump doing the right thing, or is he doing the wrong thing? Like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. Take care, folks.